Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great Monday. It's warm out there today. Very, very warm out there today. And sun is shining bright. I'm looking forward to our hopefully cool down this weekend. So, uh, yesterday I dealt with a couple of different things in the sermon, and one of the things that I dealt with was the subject of justice, and particularly environmental justice. And I recognize that that's a subject that we don't talk a lot about, but as I ponder that thought, I'm also reminded today of the fact that I referenced probably an obscure passage, even for me, it's an obscure passage from Second Chronicles dealing with the Sabbath land. And then last night in discussions during the family hour, I referenced a passage in Habakkuk about violence done to the earth by the Chaldeans and God's judgment on them for that. As I've pondered what to talk about today, my mind has gone back to part of our journey that was rather unsuccessful, and that was when we were in New Hampshire. We attempted to go to Robert Frost's home, and Robert Frost, it wasn't open that day, but you had to take a path to get there. It was certainly something, and I was reminded of a Frost poem that everyone knows well. I took the road less traveled, it concludes, and that has made all the difference for me. The road less traveled. First off, I would encourage you to go read that poem by Frost. But secondly, I would encourage you to use that as a point of departure for your personal devotions. We talk about the richness of Scripture, and yet, on the whole, we just stick to the parts that are the well-known parts. And I'm not saying that we could not go back to the well-known parts again and again and again and again and plumb the depths and still find new stuff. I certainly believe that we can do that. I'm not sure there's any use in preaching if you can't go back and plumb the depths and find new stuff from well-known, well-trod passages. But my encouragement to you is to go into roads less traveled and find what it says there. Does it take a little bit of effort? Yeah. Because let's just face it, some of the language that we find and some of the ways that are written, particularly if you go back into the Old Testament, particularly if you go back to, the minor prophets in the Old Testament, are difficult. But so are roads less traveled. You know, when we were in Acadia National Forest, we did some rock climbing, not like scaling a summit or anything, but, going off and going down to pools and things like that, to get better views and all that. And, stuff that we do not normally do. Stuff that there wasn't a clear path there. You had to sort of figure it out as you went. Which one can I make that step on? Which one can I hoist myself on that one? And you sort of go from there. There's a lot of road less traveled, but in the end, it enabled some beautiful, beautiful scenery. It enabled me to learn a lot more stuff about who I am and what I can do. And it caused me to want to do it more and more. So my encouragement to you is to go down the road less traveled. Go find and figure out what Habakkuk is trying to say. Hear the words of Amos. Hear the calls to justice that's found in Micah. Study the things you don't normally study. Go down those roads less traveled, though they be difficult, and come into magnificent, magnificent, magnificent scenes. I'm confident that when you do, you'll learn a lot. So, keep traveling on. Until later, remember to travel in grace, for it truly abounds. Blessings to you.